Hi everyone, welcome to another pick a card video on my channel. My name is Julie Ann Fay and I'm a professional astrologer and a certified angel card reader. On this channel, I do pick a card videos and I chat about topics like working with the archangels, the Fae, chakras, law of attraction, all of that good stuff. And I'm a spiritual teacher and healer. You can find more about my work at julieannfay.com. I'm also a pretty regular blog writer, and I also write, my writing also gets put onto a spirituality related app. So if you found me from Sage App, welcome, welcome. Excited to have you here. And I know that my subscriber base is growing very slowly, but nonetheless it's growing and I'm grateful for that. So for my new subscribers, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming back and checking out more of my videos. And I'm excited to get into this pick a card for you guys. So as those of you who watch my pick a cards know, I like to do pick a cards twice a month around the time of the new and full moons. And I release them along with my email newsletters. So make sure you're signed up for my bi-monthly email newsletters because that's where you get all of the latest up-to-date information about my pick a card video that comes out and the latest blog posts I've written and any specials I've got going on. So much good stuff goes into those email newsletters. So make sure that you're clued into that. And I'm recording this for you guys when the moon is already in Aries, but technically the new moon is exact tomorrow. And yeah, it's been an interesting one. I actually did write a blog post, One New Moon to Rule Them All, which you can find on my blog, where I actually do show you the chart for the new moon and give you some kind of tips about energy patterns that are going on with this new moon. I also, of course, go over things over the entire month in greater depth in my Astro Fairy membership, which is my monthly membership community where you can get clued into a private Facebook group, private reading discounts, as well as week-to-week content, video content where I do chart walkthroughs. So it's really, really great. And then I also have one called Fearlessly Fairy, which is just for cards. So same concept, but for cards. And you can learn about both of those on my website, or you can email me for info. My email's in the description of this video. So yeah, there's some interesting stuff with this new moon, especially more so today and not as much tomorrow. But today we've been experiencing this kind of moon conjunct Chiron energy, and Mercury is right there still. So yeah, this is a lot of like vulnerable energy. This can be some wounding energy. And, you know, we went through Mercury conjunct Chiron, the exact conjunction of that a couple days ago. And I know I had some really uncomfortable, weird stuff come up for me. It was a very, very difficult but weird day. So we're still kind of getting out of that energy, although the peak of that Mercury Chiron has already happened. So we should be incrementally getting better from that. And, you know, Chiron, I talked about this a lot in my Astro Fairy membership, and you'll occasionally, actually, I think that there's some, I don't know if I talked about it in that blog post, but Chiron represents wounded energy that we have to transmute and heal, you know, and it's often a part of us that we suppress or kind of shame or guilt because we have difficulty accepting it. So this could be a lot of, you know, spiritual, not necessarily spiritual, but just wounds. It depends what house is being affected by this for you, and what Aries, where is Aries in your chart, you know, how is it being aspected in your chart. You want to understand more about it. But it, you know, as a general rule, can bring in this kind of like wet blanket energy where it's not very comfortable because communications are weird, or there's just like, you know, there's just wounded energy. There could be something really, really specific that's gone on that's wounded you too. So you might be really clear about what it is, and you're trying to integrate that wound and work through it. Others of you, it might not be so clear, so specific, but you can feel this like palpable sense of like, you know. And that's challenging for Aries because Aries likes to initiate, it likes to go forward. It doesn't really want to spend as much time doing healing, right? Pisces, where Chiron was before, is okay with that. It's okay with taking that time to heal, but Aries is like not as into it, you know? So for Aries, it more so becomes like, it could be a physical injury or something with the physical body, or a blow to the ego in some type of way, because Aries does rule the head. So yeah, there's many different applications of how this could go. And Mercury, you know, is a fast-moving planet. Chiron will move much more, obviously, is going to linger longer in that spot than Mercury will. So we will get past this energy and begin to start to feel more of that excitement and pioneering energy of what this new moon in Aries is about. And that will be activated when it's exact tomorrow night, as of the time of me recording this. And then we'll be in that 2-week cycle, integrating that energy of new moon and Aries for that time. So we'll be bringing in that energy of taking action, drive, putting ourselves out there, having courage, all of that beautiful stuff, okay? So, and I will say, you know, what's been really supportive to me has been soft, nurturing crystals. I've been working a lot with my honey calcite, which is a very mothering and nurturing crystal. And I do have some blog posts that will be coming out next week, in particular one earlier in the week, where I do talk about, you know, some other aspects that are going on with this, including Venus square Pluto, and some of the ways to witness that and work at transforming with that energy. So stay tuned for that, because I do also talk about a bunch in that. I don't want to go into too much detail here. But yeah, so looking at, you know, what are your kind of nurturing crystals? Maybe it's just straight up rose quartz, you know. For me, I've been working a lot with my honey calcite and my dendritic agate pillars, which I love these so much. This is one of my most favorite crystals. This one actually is a pillar that's dendritic agate, and it also has some green in it, which you probably can't see too well in this lighting. You can kind of see a little bit of it there. But that's actually green opal. So it's pretty cool that it has inclusions of that. And I love dendritic agate because this is also known as the stone of plentitude. I just love this crystal so much. I'm really obsessed with it. And I have 2 pillars like this, and I also have it in jewelry as well. And I love it because, well, first of all, it's got, you know, actual bits of, forget if it's lichen or moss. I don't think it's moss. I think it's lichen, and I might be mixing this up, but to me, it's like a super fairy approved crystal because it so directly connects me to the earth. And then it just has this very pure, loving energy to it. I like to work with it often in January at the start of winter, but I've been finding myself working with it now. And it does do a lot of help with abundance and having an abundance mindset. It's known as the stone of plentitude because it can help you with your thoughts and your energetic field to just really bring in this energy of there's more than enough. I'm divinely taken care of, you know? And it's just a really beautiful crystal for that. And not many people know about it. So I'm a huge fan of dendritic agate, and I do recommend checking it out if it's new to you. So for this pick a card video, I've got a couple decks here. So like usual, I'm going to show you guys what these decks are. And then I will, you know, set up the piles off camera for you guys like I always do. Not looking, of course, but, you know, learning at the same time you guys do about what the piles are, and I'll give you the chance to pick from 3 individual piles. Okay, so we have Wisdom of the Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reed. I haven't worked with this deck in a long time, and it was on my brain earlier today, so I decided to pull it out. The Light Seers Tarot, wow, rushed that. The Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. And Cheryl Richardson's self-care cards, as well as the Kuan Yin Oracle for some extra self-care and loving, which I do feel like we need right now. And then I have my lovely Astro Dice, which we can use as well. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to queue up our piles and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. I want to say that these cards kind of popped out as a little bit of jumping cards. And I do feel like this is part of a message for the collective, so take it as it resonates. And I will say that one of these cards, well, actually, the energy in both of these cards was coming up in my Fearlessly Fairy community, but in particular, this Nine of Wands has been coming up a lot as in my Fearlessly Fairy community for this month, as well as just, it's been on my brain a lot, this card. So this Nine of Wands card, okay? So this is a card about feeling like you're kind of being pushed to the limit of what you can take, but it is a card about not giving up, you know. And I also got weight. That was also a jumping card. And it says, honor your resistance. Sometimes no action is the best action of all. And, you know, with this Nine of Wands, this is the card of perseverance. You know, you can see that a lot has happened with all these other wands on the ground. It's not actually really represented well in this card. It's actually represented a lot better in some of my other decks. But, you know, this is a card about you have conquered a lot. There's a lot that you've done with this situation. There's a lot of energy you've put into it, but this is also like you need to stand your ground and like not pick up all of these wands and like run away or give up or knock them over. This is like the stand strong, stand in your power, like don't give in to the give up feels that could be kind of persisting, you know. And with weight, it might be that you have to wait a little longer to see the kind of fruits of your labor, to see the results of your manifestations. Maybe you're waiting to hear back from someone, or there's just something you're trying to work on getting into a good flow and it hasn't really been happening yet. This is saying that you are putting in that energy and it's not going unnoticed. It's definitely going to be received by the universe in some type of way, but you might need to be a little patient with this process here, okay? So with that being said, let's get into the pile picks you guys have, okay? So this one deck doesn't really have like a back, so I'm going to try to hide those cards for you. Okay, so this is the energy of pile one. If you're, you know, in a position where you can close your eyes, take a deep breath, center yourself, pause this video if you need to just kind of get to a more still place before you pick a pile. You don't want to do a pile pick from a rushed point of view or like a forced energy. You want this to be very loving and natural and just like your intuition, like strongly, like sometimes my intuition is like, yeah, it's like this, you know. Other times it takes me, you know, I have to look at the timestamps or something like that. But there's a couple ways to go about this. One is you can just tune into your body. How do you feel with this particular pile? The backs of the cards are going to look the same. So you're just energetically tuning into the frequency of what these cards, the medicine that they would offer to you. Another way to go about it, you can use your hands like a chakra, and you can actually hold your hands up to the screen over that card and see if you get kind of like a tingling sensation or some awareness, like pings. I usually get pings of energy because I'm extremely clairsentient. It often is like a full body zing. So sometimes it's pretty obvious, you know, but your hand chakras have an intelligence to them, so you can use those as well, okay? So this is the energy of pile one. Okay, so that is the energy of pile one. This is the energy of pile two. And this is the energy of pile three, okay? Okay, I'm gonna try to hold these up for you guys at the same time. All right, so we have pile one, pile two, it's beautiful Kuan Yin images there. Pile one, pile two, and pile three, okay, if you wanna look at them all together. All right, and then always like to do a shout out to Roxx Polish, who makes crystal infused nail polish. There should be a link in the description to her Etsy shop and my code that you can use with that. And tonight I'm actually wearing the kids carnelian. So she does have some kid sizes of nail polish, and then I'm wearing also blue chalcedony, the usual size, the kind of like adult size of that. All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna start with pile one. So I hope you're able to pick a pile. If not, take a little bit of extra time as you need to tune in. and you will get the answers that you need. I believe in you. Okay, so pile one, peeps. These are the cards for you. Let's get into it. See what we got. I should also say for the Kuan Yin Oracle, I am probably going to reference the guidebook because that deck has really powerful messages via the guidebook. And then we'll wait on the Astro Dice a couple minutes here for that. Okay, so let me take a second here to acclimate to your cards. So pile one, peeps, you're kind of setting the tone for this pick a card, right? In a way that's super reflective of almost like coming off the heels of this message of the collective. And I wouldn't even be surprised if you guys do have some Aries energy in your chart. It's kind of interesting here because we do have poised, number 48. So this is a card of like being ready to go. You know, you could see that she's like almost like jumping off this podium. So she's like, hey, look at me, pick me, you know. It's a super card of like, I am ready. I have this enthusiasm, this passion, this energy to give, but I need you to pick me. Like I'm on this podium, like notice me, pick me, you know. And I think that in like, I'll come back to this card in a second. I think though that even though there's this readiness within you, okay, from this card, there's also this energy of needing to practice receptivity, okay, because you have the Yin Empress. And it's funny because I was saying that I was going to consult the guidebook. I almost don't even need the guidebook for this card. So this is card number 40, which in numerology would be a 4, which is about laying a solid foundation. You know, in astrology, that's the 4th house, the house of Cancer, which is emotions here. So this is a card a lot of, and you know, the Empress represents fertility, abundance, and you know, Yin energy is feminine energy, divine feminine energy, receptive energy. And this card came up next to help, okay? And on the back it says ask for help, receiving as an act of generosity. So even though you guys might be quite ambitious, quite eager to apply yourself to a situation, to do something, whether this is like, you know, when I do my pick of cards, I always like to envision that all of us are working on manifesting something in our life, right? Where there's, even when you accomplish one thing, it's like, okay, what's the next manifestation, right? But for individual, you know, people, this could be very different. So for some of you, this might be, you know, you want a life partner, you want romance again, and you're like, I'm ready for love, right? This is you, like, I'm ready for love, you know. For others of you, this might be about job or career or financial opportunities. For others of you, this might be like about having children, or, you know, this could be so many things you want to manifest and bring into your life. And I think that this is just acknowledging that you're more ready now with receiving this thing in your life than it's like you've actually been before in recent times. I think like you're actually now at a point where it's like energetically you have those energy reserves to tap into that enthusiasm to put energy into this. It's like you are ready. Equally though, there might be some kind of frustration here of like, okay, well, where is it? You know, I have this energy to apply myself. I'm ready to go, but where's the thing, the person, you know, where is this thing that I'm going to go down this path with and align with? And I think that part of the answer to this is around you practicing receptivity and maybe asking questions or asking help of people, you know, because there definitely could be an energy here as well of you perceiving that you have to do it all alone, you know, or that it's all on you, or that like you're the only person that can figure this out or work this or do this energy. When the reality is that there might be a lot of people that maybe have wisdom to provide here that could be eager to help you if you maybe just ask them, you know. And that is kind of a very like weird Mercury Chiron Aries situation, because Aries likes to be independent and do things by themselves, right? Libra, Aries opposite, is the one that looks at partnerships and relationships. So it's not really comfortable for Aries. It's kind of like the warrior-S, right? to say, okay, you know what? I need to humble myself to maybe ask for someone else to join me in this. Aries is like, I've got my armor on, like, I want to run into the battlefield, you know? So this might be very uncomfortable for you to surrender to asking for help or just asking questions of people to get the support that you need. But I think that this is actually a really good experience for you in practicing this yin energy and this receptivity. It could be that you're naturally like a very ambitious and kind of yang oriented person who really does like to kind of get up and go after things. And this might be just a time in which you have to learn. It's like this is a learning opportunity for you to maybe practice some of this humility to ask for help or ask for things of people to support you, and see that you can also experience that energy to move forward through also this yin energy and this receptive energy, you know, because I think that maybe the strategy that you've been trying to apply or what you've been trying to work with this, I don't know if it's always making you feel kind of calm, because you have the card here of peace, right? So this is like a super, you know, Libra energy card, and it's interesting too because it's got the egg, so it's almost like very Ostara vibes, you know. And I did write a blog post on Ostara. It's a super cute one. Look for the gif with the corgi. You know, so this is like start of spring here. This is the promise of potential. So I do feel like there's a lot of potential here for this egg to crack open and to reveal like so much more energy here. But in the process, it's like you can't really rush what's inside the egg to come out. You kind of have to let it work its own journey, right, to kind of cracking open. And I think that the more that you can be peaceful and calm in your approach to this, the better, you know. So there might need to be some adjustments that are made in the process of this to help you kind of soothe yourself and kind of calm these waters a bit, right? Because especially when you're trying to bring something in, which is that receptivity energy and that yin energy, if you put out too much aggression, it's actually going to kind of like make that thing that wants to come in with flow and receptivity a little bit, it's going to be difficult for those two things to align. You know, it's like in the same way that nobody really wants like a pushy salesperson, right? That's like very like antagonistically, very like pushing forward energy. But the people that kind of talk about their products from like a very calm, loving way of like, this is my experience, this is how I'm enjoying it, those are the ones where you're more curious and more open-minded to maybe do something about it, right? So the same happens in love, right? If there's someone you're interested in and you kind of go after it with this like aggressive energy, there could be some fallback from that, versus if you maybe, you know, put some energy into it and see kind of how it's going, but then also spend some time with your friends, you know, spend some time with your work and your career initiatives. So kind of balance here. So there's a need here for you to not stop this energy of being like, I'm ready, I'm ambitious, I have energy to attack this with, but equally temper that with some of this more yin energy, which is more peaceful and maybe able to be more receptive here, you know. And with this strength card, and again, it's actually not really shown too well in this card. It's funny that like I picked this tarot deck. I have many different tarot decks, and I picked this one and I'm like, every card, I'm like, this doesn't work, right? But you could kind of see it up in here in this card where she's got kind of like half that lion face, right? And then with the lamb down here. So the strength card does represent also needing to temper these two energies, this kind of like lion energy, this like fierce energy with this very tender, nurturing energy. So you do need to do some work right now to balance these two energies within you, literally like that yin and that yang quality, or if you want to think of it instead as like that ambitious and receptive quality, okay, but that duality needs to be kind of worked a little bit, because I think you're too much on one side. And your last card here is temperance, which perfectly, you know, complements that, because temperance is about, in the traditional tarot, right, it's the mixing of the two cups. So this is about mixing of kind of two opposite vessels, two totally different energies here. So this is a need for, you know, balance and patience and moderation. So learning how to moderate yourself, like if you're too pushy, too aggressive, versus are you too passive? You know, are you too, you know, too afraid, like not sticking up for yourself when you could be, right? That would be if you're too much you know, in one type, the more too much in the feminine is if you're too emotional and too, not that emotions are bad, because emotions are really important, but we all can be in a phase where it's like, okay, all I'm doing is kind of just like churning through my fears and my emotions, and maybe I need to take like an action step and kind of shift this vibe a little bit, right? We've all been there. So you need to kind of watch for like, which side of this are you on? There is a need here to kind of practice some balance, okay? From your Astro Dice, we've got, I'm gonna roll again because that's really feeling right. So pile number 1, peeps, please. Okay, perfect. We have Saturn in Libra. Okay, Saturn in Libra, which is exactly about doing karmic work around balance and establishing a sense of peace with relationships. And then, I don't know, I think this was on the 8th house. Let's just roll this again. Okay, 4th house. So 4th house is, you know, the house of Cancer, which is about, you know, emotions and feeling stable, and is related to home and family. So it could be also, for some of you, a portion of you, you might be very like, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, in so much of a way that you're actually like neglecting the emotional relationships in your life, like your family or people that provide that sense of like beautiful peace, harmony, and partnership for you. So there might be a need to actually put some more love and energy into, you know, time with your fur babies, time with your children, time with, you know, your partner. Put more time into your relationships, because maybe you've been kind of neglecting them a little bit if you've been like overly ambitious lately. For others of you, I think it's just about practicing this balance between these different parts of you, these different needs, and not losing your enthusiasm, your drive, and your ambition for what it is that you want to do, but actually tempering that at times with the act of letting go and allowing this energy to come to you instead of feeling you have to chase down everything all the time, you know? So let me actually also just take a peek here in the guidebook for this card, and let's see if there's something to complement what I was channeling from that. So this is the Yin Empress, and it says the Yin Empress brings peace, prosperity, and success to her beloved devotees. Your soul purpose includes healing and empowerment of the divine feminine, the Yin Empress herself. You gain power, assistance, and untold blessings in following your soul purpose. You are lifted and supported in your sacred work now. And I'm just going to intuitively scan for key messages for you guys from this part. So it says the cosmic empress of yin, or divine feminine energy, so that we may live in more balance as a species on the earth. Men and women in touch with their feminine power are able to love, to have compassion, to be truthful, and to honor what really matters to them, whether it fits with contemporary cultural values or not. You're being asked to live into your feminine power now, to be true to who you are and not give in to social conditioning that tells you feminine power is not enough, that you must compromise your values, your beliefs, or your compassion to get ahead or come out on top. You do not have to live that way. You are being empowered to live from your heart and realize that this is not only enough, it is a blessing for all. The Yin Empress thanks you for your loving devotion and service to her and shines blessings upon you now, beloved. So I feel like this whole kind of pile's message is a lot around trusting the intelligence that can come from receptivity and from that feminine energy, right? Sometimes, I know this has happened to me where, well, I mean, I went through something just this week, which was really stressful. And then I had to really ask myself, like, okay, is this really worth it for me to push and force? Or knowing that there's going to be more with this story anyway next week, I think I should just let it go for this day, you know? And that helped me a lot, because it's kind of like that, I think, from Hagrid in Harry Potter. He's like, what's coming will come, you know? So sometimes, like, it's inevitable that you're going to have to go through it anyway, or there's going to be more to it to play out anyway. So it's like, you know, if you can save yourself some of that stress and anguish and over forcing or over pushing energy in the here and the now, knowing that there's going to be more to come with it. So this could also be an energy about just like trusting that more will come, trusting that you're doing what you can, that you're maybe even doing so much or too much of what you could, that actually you need to maybe like dial it back a little bit and like let it go a little bit, because there might need to be some breathing room here, you know, for these manifestations to occur. Okay. So sending you guys so much love, pile one. Please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And if this was the pile that you picked, which it was if you're here, drop me a comment down below and let me know how you resonated with that. I so love to hear people's supportive, positive comments down below about, you know, what they're going through, how they resonated with something. And look out for my replies, okay? Because a lot of times I love to read those comments. I often reply to them with some thoughts or something. So make sure you check for my replies, okay? And of course, you're welcome to, you know, you can follow me. I'm on Instagram. I'm also on Etsy. And I highly recommend signing up for my bi-monthly email newsletters, because you'll get all the latest in my blog posts and all that good stuff. All right. Okay, pile two peeps. These are the cards for you. So let's get into it. I'm going to take a look at what we've got. All right. I'm just going to take a couple more seconds here to acclimate to your energy, pile two peeps. So I think if you pick pile two, I do feel a bit of like a tightness and a heaviness in my heart chakra. So there might be a lot of heavy feelings here, pile two peeps, okay? We do have the Five of Pentacles here. And we also have this Blessings of the Moon Maiden, which I will reference the guidebook for that one in a short bit. But already with just that energy of the moon, this is kind of telling me that there's a lot of emotions here, okay? This is card number 2 in that deck, so this could be related to potentially decisions, but also partnerships or relationships even. And with this Five of Pentacles card here, this is feeling kind of left out in the cold, you know. In this card, you could see it represented as there's like this giant door and this like little girl, and there is a way to get out and the key is there, but it's like she's really kind of stuck in her moods, thoughts, and feelings, and she can't see that there's this way to get out. So, and that's not to shame you in any way, okay? Because sometimes always we're doing the best we can with the awareness and kind of the programming or consciousness that we have, okay? It's kind of like that Oprah quote, when you know better, you do better. If you didn't know better, then you wouldn't, you know, if you knew better at that time, you might have made different choices. So this could be that it's like, there is a bit of this woe is me energy though. It's like you kind of can't see the way out right now. You don't see where these keys are. And there might be a lot of pressure on you to make a choice, because we have this card here of choice, okay? And I'm wondering too, and it's funny because I was just about to channel it and looking at this back of this card. So I'm wondering too, if part of this is for some of you, not all of you, maybe there's someone that wants your attention or wants something of you, and you're a little bit like feeling trapped or stuck about what's the right choice to make here with this. For others of you, this could be within yourself, right? So maybe it's like you're trying to figure out something with your career, your money, your housing. Either way, though, you feel really stuck and kind of trapped because you don't know what's the right choice, okay? On the back of this card, though, it says reconsider commitment. You have the right to change your mind. So the way I'm interpreting this for you is that, and it's interesting too with that too, because it could be kind of Libra vibes. So there could be some indecision going on here. So part of it could be that it's like, maybe you're kind of like tossing and turning over these different choices in your head and you can't figure out the way out. I feel that tightness in my heart again. You can't figure the way out because it's like anytime you start to take yourself down the path of one particular choice, you start to then think about or perceive of the obstacles down that path, and then you feel stuck. And you're like, oh, well, maybe, oh wait, no, I can't make that choice. So then you back it up. Then you go down like in a mental path, right, of like this other thing. And then you're like, oh wait, there's challenges there. Like, no, back it up. You know, so you could be kind of like taking yourself down all of these different like mental pathways. And the reality is that it might be such that you might have to kind of like explore one and experience that energy, learn those lessons, or see that for what it is. And then you can always make the choice to then make a right turn and go somewhere else. But the difference is that instead of kind of like going maybe 25% and then backtracking, if you're able to kind of try something and maybe go a little bit further into it, you might find that the choices and the options that open up for you, if you maybe go like 50 or 75% down that path, might be really different on the other side of that than they would have been if you stopped at 25%. Okay, so this could also be, you know, we did have these messages here at the beginning with weight and, you know, 9 of Wands here, which is really strong, like patience and don't give up vibes. It could be too that like maybe you made a choice, maybe you're involved in something right now and you're like, I really don't know if this is going to work. And you feel this like 5 of Pentacles, like you feel like not abundant about this choice. Okay. It could be that maybe you did make the right choice, but it's just got to take a little bit more time to kind of warm up or get its mojo going. Okay. And with the Emperor here, you know, this card has, you know, kind of like the way this card is depicted, it has really strong like Mars energy. You could see like Mars in the background there, you know, and I always associate this card with Saturn and Capricorn. So this could be this struggle for you to balance that Mars energy, which wants to initiate and go, with that Saturnian energy, right? Which says, stick it through, make a plan, you know, when the times get tough, keep going, right? That Mars energy doesn't always respond well to that because it wants to be able to be free and to push through and to not have to strategize. This card might be saying that maybe if you're in a choice and you know it's the wrong choice, you might have to strategize a bit to figure out how to get around it or how to move through it, okay? But there is kind of this need for like, number one, I think doing as much as you can do to raise your vibration, to uplift your thoughts, okay, number one, because this is not a card as much about anxiety, like there's other cards in the tarot that are more about that. This is a bit more about just feeling like you're not receiving, like from the universe, you're not feeling like you're being provided for. It's definitely a card of like not feeling abundant, you know. It can have sometimes a little bit of a depressed vibe, but that's a little bit more like even the Cups version of this card. This is more about like resources and money and like actually feeling like physically supported, okay? So it could be that this choice you made, or this choice you're experimenting with, you don't actually feel like you're being supported with this. And maybe it's not the best option for you and you have to strategize a way to move on from that. I do also get the sense though that there might be more to the story here, okay? Even though it seems like this way right now, I really feel like there's more to the story because we have card number 51, Milk and Honey. So this is a card in this deck which is about the pleasures of life, right? It's got the rainbow, it's about receptivity and this warm sweetness to your life, okay? And this is card number 51, so that's a 6. So, you know, in numerology, that's about balanced energy, giving and receiving. And there could be significance here for you with the number 6 as well. So 6 weeks, 6 days, 6 months. I'm feeling for more of you than not, it's more of the 6 weeks, 6 days. For a small portion of you, it's the 6 days. For a majority, it's 6 weeks. And a very small portion of you, it's 6 months. But yeah, I think that kind of the message I'm getting here, before I say that, so you also have flexible here, okay? And this is card number 19, which sums to a 20, which in numerology would be, you know, a 2, which is about balance. So it might be here. And this card to me, it also speaks of like that Uranian energy, right? Which, you know, Aquarius rules the ankles, okay, in medical astrology. And it's like, that's where we bend and move and like do all kinds of crazy stuff, right? So if we were just so rigid, like, and we could only go one way, right? Like even just putting my hand like that hurts. Like if we're too rigid, like if there's too much Capricornian energy, okay, we we don't have fun in life, right? So it's really cool to be able to make a left turn and a right turn and a diagonal and like, you know, do all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And we all met those like weird people that can like do like all the ankle joints and stuff. And it's, you know, it's interesting, right? So I think this is you also learning that even if something that you're pursuing doesn't look the traditional way, or it doesn't look, it just doesn't look the traditional way, or it doesn't match what like other people are doing, that might actually be your milk and honey. You know, maybe your milk and honey is in the form of like more spontaneity, more freedom, more flexibility, okay? And milk and honey for you wouldn't be this card. So don't force yourself to try to be this card in order to get the milk and honey, because you can get the milk and honey. And I'm like mostly vegan, so I don't even have milk or honey. But it's theoretical, right? Like whatever these pleasures are for you, you can experience this energy of milk and honey through pursuing your unique path, okay? And your alternate way of going about this manifestation or whatever this looks like. Just because it's different, just because it's something that's like bends a lot or is very curvy or like, you know, isn't kind of like on the straight and traditional path, it doesn't mean that it's in any way wrong or less than. And that sounds so obvious when we say it, but how many of us like hold ourselves accountable to like these norms, right? Of like, oh, well, I should do this. I should be this way. I should have my hair this way. I should wear this. I should tuck this in. So this energy this year is so much Aquarian energy with Jupiter in Aquarius and Saturn in Aquarius. This is all of us learning about embracing our uniqueness and diversity and celebrating, you know, all of the different ways that people can represent themselves and gather together, okay? And support one another. So I think this is just like a real opportunity for you to step into embracing this Aquarian energy, embracing who you are, embracing this part of you that maybe isn't normal. But spoiler alert, none of us are normal, okay? There's no like one person in the world that's like perfectly normal. Even the people that you think are working like super traditional jobs have probably some aspect of themselves that's really quirky and weird that you don't see every day, okay? We all have that as part of us, because guess what? All of us have Aquarius somewhere in our chart. Or Uranus and Uranus as well, of course, is in all of our charts. So that energy's there, it's just expressed in different ways. So I think that there is a just forgive yourself and allow yourself to just experiment and roll with this thing that you're trying, because I do think it can lead to some really positive rewards here. Another message I'm getting here too, and this is kind of a unique one, is that because we do have that Emperor card here, which is, you know, about structure and kind of efficiency and more of that Saturnian energy, there might be part of you, let's actually put this card down for a second. There might be part of you that feels like because you're not getting what you want in this very traditional or very structured way, like maybe it's like not this exact salary rate or not this exact thing, this exact way you thought you would get it, you are kind of default going into this like five of Pentacles energy of like, wow, this sucks. I'm not receiving what I want. I don't feel good about this. This won't make me feel good, blah, 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 blah. But what I'm getting for you guys to maybe just think about, because this flexible card to me, it's just really about being open-minded, allowing yourself to kind of stretch and bend and be more flexible with this. So angels, help me channel what this is, because I feel it energetically, but I want to communicate as best I can for you. Okay, so I'm just hearing simply be open-minded, you know, be open-minded because abundance comes in many forms, okay? So there might be ways in which, yes, it's maybe not super traditional and you want to go into this energy about it because maybe you don't make as much money from it. Maybe there's something that, you know, about it that doesn't pay the bills as much as you need to, right? But it brings you so much milk and honey, and that's its own form of abundance. Like, for example, I have my spirituality business, right? I don't make, I mean, at the time of recording this, when my channel is really small, if one day my channel gets really big and you're watching this video, I don't know. But at the time of recording this, when this video goes up, like, I don't make any money from making these videos and having my YouTube channel. I do have some affiliate partnerships with products that I've tried out and loved. And in return, if people do support me by using my coupon codes or whatever, I'm able to then get discounts to then support me as a small business owner to buy more of those products or whatever. So certainly there's ways that I play around with partnerships in business, and I obviously do need to charge for my services, right? But a lot of my writing, right? I'm not getting paid to do my writing. I do my writing because I love it. I love to help people and teach people, and I love putting them together with the gifts and the emojis on my blog and all of that. So I think, and that's abundance, and a lot of times I find when I'm doing my writing, I'm also helping myself. I'm also healing myself when I do that writing because it's self-reflective, and that's its own form of abundance, so, and I wouldn't really want anyone to take that away from me, even though it's like, I definitely could do with donations and more support there to pay the bills. It's still something that I enjoy, and I think it's really important for us to recognize that abundance does come in many forms. And sometimes we can actually receive abundance through really creative ways, and we think that it has to come in this really traditional package, but it's like, what if offering to sign up for that thing or invest in this thing or volunteer or help this person out or whatever it is actually ends up bringing you so much more abundance because of maybe people that you get connected to, ideas that come to you, just awareness about yourself. There's so many other forms of abundance besides money. So I feel like for this pile, there's also this, like, one, give yourself a break because you're figuring this out and you can always redirect yourself, okay, with this choices card. And two, with this whole, like, the Emperor, Five of Pentacles, flexible, milk and honey, it's like this complete dichotomy between part of you is sad because you perceive that you need or want this, which is that, like, really straight up thing, that traditional thing. But actually, you very much would enjoy this. And that's actually what's going to give you more of that milk and honey. So allowing yourself to vibe on this and not be so stuck on this. Okay, let's look at this card from the guidebook here. The Blessings of the Moon Maiden. And this is card number 2. So I'm just going to intuitively scan for you guys. So it says, the divine feminine endlessly creates over and over again, flowing in cycles just like the moon. If you have been through a challenging cycle where your creative ability to manifest seems to be impeded, this oracle indicates that the tide is changing, and your finances, energy, relationships, and vocation being infused with abundant universal energy now. Accept this divine grace and know that your abundance helps others feel abundant too. It is a spiritual service to live a life of fullness and joy. So I love that so much, and I do feel like there may be a lot of energy about this situation that does have you feeling worried about being supplied and supported with the resources you need. And I think what this is saying is that you need to trust that as you follow that kind of heart-centered space of what feels good to you, you are being supported with the universe here to move into this new cycle and to manifest these new things, and that this abundance is aligning with you. It's just asking of you to be authentic to yourself, to be real with yourself, and to not shame or guilt yourself for being different or wanting something different than the norm. Okay. So from your Astro Dice, we have, okay, so this is an interesting one. I'm going to roll again because that's what happened to pile 1. Okay. So we have Saturn in Virgo, and this is in the 5th. Okay, so the fifth house represents a house of creativity. It's ruled by Leo. It also is related to children and dating as well. And with Saturn in Virgo here, this could be about, Saturn in Virgo is actually kind of a strong Saturn placement, okay? And it is really strong about work and service. And Virgo, I'm a super Virgo myself. This is about, humility, serving people. It can also be about grace and kindness also through humility, you know. So with Saturn and Virgo here, this could be, I mean, the shadow side of it could be about, you know, that criticism and that discernment, right? And like maybe you're being overly critical of yourself. Fifth house is also ruled by the sun. So it's like you're being overly critical of yourself in such a way that you drain yourself and you make yourself feel like this, because it's like that heart heaviness, you know. So bring in more Piscean energy if you can. So music, arts, creativity, movies, bring in some of that energy to help soften that. But also this could be too about, if you're really stuck and unsure about which way to go, approach this from a place of service. So what would you do if you knew that you could kind of show up and be of service and provide something to people? Where would you go? What, you know, this also kind of works into like, what are you passionate about? You know, what is it that you want to fix and heal in the world? Because Virgos are healers and they're fixers, you know, fixer-uppers. Not in like a Capricorn way, like building houses, but like in a, I want to help you, I want to teach you, I want to be of service to you kind of way, you know. So I think that that's part of the story too, is you might have to look a bit about, A, give yourself a break if you're being so critical of yourself, even for just being who you are, but also B, where do you want to show up in service? Who are the types of people or organizations that you want to serve? You might want to look at that, okay? Because maybe that would be something for you to explore, maybe volunteering with those organizations or contacting them or supporting them in some type of way. And maybe it'll be kind of humble beginnings with this, you know, Saturn Virgo. You might have to work hard in kind of this more humble way, but I think that it will lead you actually towards more happiness, okay? Because the fifth house is about joy, you know, and the fifth house also does represent entrepreneuring, as well as, I mean, when we look at self-made wealth, it's really, the money houses in astrology are really like the second house and the eighth house, but the fifth house and 10th house do also weigh into that, right? So the 10th house is a Capricorn ruled house, and that represents like money through, I mean, it's career, it's traditions, it's organizations, it's money through belonging to a structure. The fifth house is money that comes through creativity, through passion. So it's more like an entrepreneuring house about earning money, resources, joy, and happiness through pursuing what you love, you know, and pursuing what makes you feel good and passionate. So, and it's not to say, like, even how I was talking about my own business, it's not to say that you're like, oh, well, you know, I'm passionate about this and therefore I'm not going to charge people anything, and I, you know, I don't have to make any money. It's not about that at all, because we all should be able to, you know, give and receive in equal measure, and to earn things by doing what we love, right? And to be supported to pay for our bills and to pay for all of the tools and resources it takes to run a business. I think the message here is really for you guys to just consider that even if you might have to start with some humble beginnings with this thing that you want, you know, I honestly think that it might bring you more happiness than you think. And although it looks not as traditional in terms of what you might be receiving right away or the money you might get right away, I think it could actually bring you a lot of happiness and gain momentum to build into more things that are more supportive. Okay, so that's like the main message I have for you guys. And I'm sending you so much love and happiness. Be kind to yourselves and give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Drop a comment down below. Let me know how you're related to that. I love hearing people's supportive, positive comments. It keeps me going to make these videos. Literally tonight, I was like, oh, I have to record this video, and I saw someone had commented, and it gave me, just commented with just like how they were feeling and how, you know, they were reflecting on that video, and it helped me to want to show up more. So I really, I do love to hear from you guys with how you relate to things, and look out for my replies, okay? Because I do like to reply sometimes. All right, pile 3 peeps. Pile 2 had a really beautiful reading. I'm excited to get into these cards for you guys. See what we got. All right, so there's definitely been a theme with this pick a card video, as there always is. Whenever I do these pick a card videos, I don't actually go into them. So maybe kind of relating to pile 2, I'm always weird and different than the norm because I don't actually come up with an idea for a pick a card video and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be this. I actually do it the reverse. I pull the cards knowing that I'm in this current energy of this moon cycle, and then I allow the cards to actually tell the story. And then when I watch it back and I get the timestamps, I reflect back and look at what was the main theme or message that came through there. So actually I let the cards speak to me about what the theme of this pick a card is. And for sure, you guys that pick this pile, it's continuation of this theme here about trying to figure out how to get a manifestation off the ground and get it going, but figuring out how to receive that support you need and make this energy work and align in better terms, okay? Because we have, and I feel you guys are at a little bit more of an established place with this too, but we'll get into that in a second. Because we have Ace of Pentacles and 10 of Wands. So yeah, this is definitely a pair of cards that's saying you've been really working hard on manifesting something, but it's really not aligning or coming to you as fast as you would like or in the way you thought it was going to be, right? This 10 of Wands card is about feeling exhausted. This is feeling overburdened. You know, this could be a card of feeling overworked. Maybe for some of you, this is even like you feel overworked or exhausted from your current job and you know you want to manifest a new job, but you're like, where do I even begin? Part of you, it could be that. Others of you, you're trying to manifest a job to begin with, you know, and you're really exhausted and kind of burnt out from this process of trying to make this manifestation happen and trying to get this to work here. So that's like confirmation of kind of what you're going through here. And I think that, so let me take a second to kind of acclimate to what this is saying here. So I think that a good place for you guys to start, whether it is that you want a job transition or you're looking at really trying to like sync up with or land that job that you do want, right? Do you know what I mean? Whether you're transitioning because you're already in a job and you want a different one, or you don't have that going on and you just want something, you know, that's right for you to align. I think a good place for you guys to start here is with this exchanging gifts card. So really look at, and this is card number 27, okay, which sums to a, this card is really not focusing too well. This sums to a 9, so this is about endings and beginnings and karmic energy, you know. But with this exchanging gifts card, I feel, there we go. I feel like this is saying that you have skills and talents and gifts you can offer to people. There are absolutely things, you know, that you can offer people, and equally there's things that people can offer to you. So start there, you know, even if you just start with like a most basic list of I can do ... and then right underneath them, what are the things that you're good at doing? Maybe you're good at sales. Maybe you're good, not me. I'm not good at sales. This is something I'm not good at. Maybe you're good at sales. Maybe you're good at, you know, TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. Maybe you're good at writing, you know, maybe you're good at recording videos or whatever it might be. Maybe you're good at teaching or painting or designing things or building things or organizing things. There's some type of skill, actually I feel like it's a combination of skills that you have, and I feel like this is something that I'm hearing for someone or something. You're a very patient person. This is a message for someone here, that you're a very patient person, and that's actually a skill that, and I'm hearing hospice nurse or something with that. So that might even be for just one of you or a small group of you, but there's something there where it's like you're a very patient person, so you actually do well in environments that require you to be patient with people, you know, whether they be like elderly people or people even in some kind of nursing home or like a medical environment or something where people are stressed or cranky or something. Like you actually are very patient and you could do well there, okay? So, this is saying like whether you're thinking about transitioning a career transition into a different type of job or you're looking for that right job, really start with like, what do you have to give? What are your skills? What are your talents? What is it that you feel like you have to offer? And you'll find that as you speak up about, show up in those gifts you have to offer, the right people that want those gifts or could give to you back in equal measure will find you. Or you might have to talk to a couple people and maybe some of those people won't be receptive to them right away, but others will be like, yeah, actually that would be really great. And here's how we could maybe do an exchange, or here's how we could make that work. Okay. Because you also have this support card here. So it's this interesting thing about how by showing up with your gifts and what you have to offer, even though it seems like you're putting in that energy, you're actually also going to manifest the support you need by showing up like that and doing that. With this support card too, she's petting the cat there, and this could be too about like helping people, animals, pets, whatever, that maybe have an energy in which they have more difficulty helping themselves and you benefit from helping them. I know when I lived in Chicago, or close to Chicago, that I would volunteer at this animal shelter there, and I loved it so much to visit the doggies, and I just loved it. I would walk the dogs and I would brush them and I would talk to them about how they're going to get adopted, and like yes, I was putting in energy and my gifts there of just like loving animals and wanting to help animals and all of that. But I also was getting back in return a deep sense of purpose, love, and commitment to being able to show up for them and to help them. So don't underestimate the support that can come from you showing up in your gifts and being willing to offer them and to help, whether this be volunteering somewhere. Okay, that might even be an interesting way to go about starting this transition to move into something different. Okay, because we do also have Mother of Mercy here, and why. So I feel like I've got some throat chakra clearing going on and I have no water available. I feel like there's part of you that goes into this place of like, where is the universe? Where are my angels supporting me with this? Where's kind of my support? Because we have that support card here. When you go into this place where you're kind of questioning about not feeling like the universe is supporting you, I feel like this is like kind of like a mind loop that you could get really, really stuck in, of like, I don't know, I have more questions than answers, like, and then it also brings in this energy of like, but why aren't I being helped? Is there something wrong with me? And like all this stuff. And this is kind of like a whole mind volcano, vortex here that you could get really lost in, of like over analyzing, over questioning things about why they're not manifesting and why things aren't working out for you. So I would encourage you guys to, even though this may be partially true that you're working through these feelings and blocks, I think a way out of it is to show up in maybe service and to look at who can I support. There's this expression like, when you get nervous, focus on service. So who needs your help right now? Where could you volunteer? Where could you show up? Is there someone that you could, show up for with your gifts and talents? Like, for example, I'm really, really good with partnerships, right? And because I have a Libra moon and a Libra ascendant, I have so much energy in Libra, even though I'm super Virgo. So partnerships work comes really, really easily to me. So I find myself a lot of the time asking small business owners, hey, can I share about your product? Let's create an exchange where I can share about it, and let's set up a coupon code, and then I can use that, or I can get perks over time, things like that. So that's exchanging gifts. Like my gift is that it's really easy for me to just do that. It's really easy for me to just ask people things and to create friendships that way, right? Through social media, or just like talk to people. It's very easy for me to talk to people like that. And in return, we get to exchange gifts. So I get to receive and they get to receive, right? So there's a way here to make this set up in such a way where it's mutually beneficial, and I'm hearing for some of you, just start small, start with like a small thing. Sometimes we can also volunteer or help out with things in ways where there might not even be a volunteering program yet. So maybe there's something where you could show up and give your help, and maybe you could even be like the pioneer of that, you know, or start that in some type of way. It would be really cool, you know. Okay, so Astro Dice here for you guys. I'm actually going to roll these twice because that was the theme for every pile. First roll did not come out good. Okay, so we have Uranus and Sagittarius. That's actually my natal Uranus in the second house. So second house represents, in fact, that's my exact, I have Uranus in the second house in Sagittarius. Second house represents self-worth. It's also related to money and assets. Sagittarius is about freedom, higher learning, expansion, travel. Uranus is about innovation, society, technology. So there's a need here for you guys to do some exploring. Where could you innovate? Okay, this relationship maybe with yourself and your self-worth, you know, and that could be part of the story too, is like when you go into this energy with this Y and Mother of Mercy, it makes you feel like less than. It makes you feel like you're not worthy to receive because these things aren't working out or they're not aligning. But if you go into this energy where you're showing up and you're supporting, you're offering your gifts, it's going to feel so good because you're like, wow, I actually am being celebrated for my talents. And then there's a momentum and energy that can gain and move forward from there. Okay, that could be really supportive and lead to more and more abundance. So I feel like for you guys, pile 3, this is like a mindset shift. Mindset shift. I feel like I missed a couple letters there. This is a mindset shift, S-H-I-F-T, okay? About restructuring the way you think about this. Instead of looking at this as, I mean, I don't want to say don't look at it as this is so hard, because I genuinely do feel like you've been working so hard on it, okay? It's not, it's a little bit of that, but it's more so like, instead of looking at this as why not me, when's it my turn kind of vibes, instead look at this as, okay, there's some discontentment and some unhappiness over here. So let's shift that energy by maybe showing up with things I know I can do and things I know I can do well, you know, and through that energy, applying myself with these things I know I can do well, and maybe supporting other people, or, you know, just providing my gifts and talents, I'm going to notice that I get more support. There's more alignment there, you know, with the things that could work out for me, that could draw in more of that support. And I think in a weird way, if you do that, it's actually going to then cycle back to this energy with this Y energy, and it's going to give you clarity on your why, because you'll recognize like, wow, if I'm doing this, this means I really love it, and look how much enthusiasm I have, and it doesn't, you know, doesn't have to be that I'm getting paid to enjoy doing this, and this could be something here, right? And I think that that's going to actually provide you with that. You're going to almost like create that mercy in and of yourself by taking this alternate path with this. I don't know what that was. That's me motioning the energy of what it feels like for you to go over here with with this energy. Sometimes I do feel energy in shapes. So that's my motion for you getting into this energy, okay? Instead of this one, which I feel is very much like a crisscross kind of energy, is how I feel that. So let's get from the guidebook for this Mother of Mercy, I'm just going to intuitively read out parts I feel called to from the guidebook for that one. So it says, mercy tempers great strength and power with kindness, gentleness, compassion, and caring. The divine Kuan Yin brings the quality of mercy to you now as a divine gift, encouraging you to cultivate mercy in your dealings with others and to receive it for yourself now too. It says we could be suffering from a heavy karmic lesson from this or another lifetime, and our soul may be struggling to really integrate the lesson and feel free to rise up and move on. Perhaps we're in a situation with another where we hold great power. It might be as a parent, a teacher, a healer, or a boss. It might even be in a less obvious position of power where we could take advantage of another's care for us to secure what we want. These situations call for the quality of divine mercy. Okay, and it says to pray for mercy is a powerful prayer. Kuan Yin drops nectar of mercy from her ivory vase into the hearts of those that call to her. If you are in a situation on either side of the story, whether you feel powerful or disempowered, where there is manipulation, fear, struggle, hurting, or suffering, call upon the Mother of Mercy now. You are guided by this oracle to accept her spiritual gift to you. Even if the situation doesn't seem too dramatic, fortunately enough, her gift will abate any karmic escalation and prevent the situation from becoming any worse. Blessings to Kuan Yin, Mother of Mercy, who watches over us with attentive love and cares for our spiritual progress. And there's a prayer here. Mother of Mercy, so loves my soul. The nectar of mercy brings peace and bliss untold. I open my heart now to this endless love and peace, which the grace of Kuan Yin helps me reach. Om Mani Padme Hum. So, yeah, and there's a kind of like a guided journey. And if you're really, really drawn to Kuan Yin, you might want to check out buying this deck, this Kuan Yin Oracle deck. It's a beautiful deck, and I actually got this deck at a time in which I needed a lot of self-compassion and Kuan Yin loving, and this deck really helped me through a big thing I went through in a short amount of time that required a lot of personal courage and self-compassion with myself, because a lot of times we hear like, okay, well, you have to be brave, you have to be courageous. And I think what's important to consider is that for me, from what I've observed going through the spiritual path and the spiritual journey, a lot of times the self-compassion river is super close to the courage river. They flow like kind of together, really, right? And in order to be courageous, you're also going to have to self-soothe at times, and you're also going to have to watch for negative self-talk, and you're going to also have to watch for, just mothering yourself in some type of way, right? Like when when a child is crying and kind of like freaking out, the mother in their life is there to comfort them and show them that it's going to get better. And as we age, oftentimes our own mothers are not always there to do that for us. So we have to learn and adapt of how to do that for ourselves, especially those of us that, have mother wounds, or our mother didn't really do that or doesn't show up for us in that way, right? Kuan Yin can be like your surrogate mother, because she's all about definitely a wonderful ascended master to work with, to connect with the water element, but also about compassion, and self-love, like big time. Okay, so, and I feel like actually as you do this energy over here, it's going to help you step into more appreciation and love for yourself, because you'll recognize your talents even more and feel really good about the gifts you have to give. Okay, so I'm sending you guys love pile 3. Please give this video a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how that was for you. I love hearing your supportive, positive comments of how you resonated with something. It makes me very happy to see that people are, actively participating and commenting and, watching the videos. And I'm sending you guys so much love and light. Have a wonderful new moon and Aries cycle. And I'll see you again at the next. It'll be a full moon, and then I'll be in Scorpio, which will be wild. So, bye.